former pro golfer turned model and influencer. You're looking at 11 million followers on social. She was named Sexiest Woman Alive in Maxim's 2022 Hot 100 list. First athlete to attain that number one spot.
Hell yeah, she was.
Paige Spiranac here with you on The Fan, and a good afternoon. How the heck are you?
What an intro. Just follow me
gracious,
around everywhere and introduce me that way.
Let's go.
I like that. Feeling good about myself right now.
As you should.
So, Sports Grid brings you to Radio Row. What do we need to know about this?
Yeah, so we created Las Pages, which is a destination of fantasy, gambling, casino, lifestyle, and so much more. And we launched our first show on February 2nd. It's called Gimme Props, where people write in and give me prop bets, and I have to try to win. And first two episodes are pretty fun. The second episode, I have a double-stacked burger, which is the size of that football, and I have to try to finish it in 5 bites.
5 bites?
5 bites. I still have lockjaw from trying to defeat that challenge. It's physically taxing.
Yes.
How much of a dent did you put into that thing?
You're going to have to watch and see. But I will say that I do have a big mouth, so
You're probably going to, you're the woman for the job.
I'm the woman for
Is
the
there
job.
training that goes into that? You have to, like, loosen up the jaw?
Yeah, massage it out. Yeah, get ready for it.
I don't know what Joey Jaws does, like if there's any techniques.
I love it, though, welcoming in the eating component to this situation.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I did a challenge a couple years ago because we were watching the hot dog eating competition. I was like, I wonder how many I can do in 10 minutes. I was like, I'll just film it. And people went crazy over it. And so then I had to do that every year now. And now people always want to do food challenges. I have no idea why, but they seem to love it. Yeah.
How many did you get in 10 minutes? Because I got 9.5.
Yeah, Walchuk did hit 9.5.
That's impressive. I did 6.5.
Okay.
It's the technique is you have to double fist and you have to dip them in water.
So you do the dip.
It helps. It's easier. It's
yes.
gross, but it's
disgusting.
easier.
And so every time I would do it, I would gag, and I was like, you just got to fight through it. And it's just, you're done after 10 minutes. You're like, I never want to see a hot dog ever again.
I'm good on
then
that.
A week later, I'm on the golf course. I'm like, I'll have a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. It's inspiring as hell.
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you. Yeah, doing the good work.
Doing the
here.
Lord's work right now.
When you talk about gambling and what you're involved with that, as a golfer, what's your favorite gambling game to play on a golf course? Are you a wolf? Or what's your game? When you tee it up, what do you kind of organizing for the group?
There's so many really fun ones. Yeah. There's this game called Snake.
Okay.
And it has to do with putting. And so every time someone 3-putts, then you add on an amount after that. And so on the last hole, whoever has the snake has to pay that amount in whatever you decide it be.
Oh,
so someone's stuck, like you have a 3-putt or like a 5-footer on the last hole, and you know that, a couple grand is on the line if you miss it. And it's stressful, and you don't really think about it that often. Then all of a sudden you're like on 16, 17, 18, you're like, oh no. I hope
so
I
you're
don't
like lining them up.
Yeah, you're really focusing.
You're having the caddy, hey, take a look at this.
Yeah.
I think it's right edge,
But obviously, like front 9, back 9 total is like the typical one everyone does.
Yeah.
Now, you were a champion golfer in college, weren't you? Very competitive sports family.
Yeah, so played junior golf and then played college golf at San Diego State University, was all conference there. And then from my family, my sister ran track at Stanford, my mom, professional ballet dancer, my aunt, professional tennis player, and my dad played football at Pitt when they won national championship. So we kind of have everything covered, come from a big sports family. And so they were like, you're going to be a professional athlete in something, so figure it out.
Wow.
And then when I didn't make it, I had to pivot, and I'm still lucky enough that I can stay in golf. But my goal was to be on tour.
And, you kind of dabbled with that for a little bit. Were you part of the reason the LPGA made the dress code changing?
No, everyone thinks that, but I wasn't playing at that time. I wrote a piece in Forbes about it, and so that's how I got associated with the dress code. And obviously dress code has been a big part of my brand and what I stand for. I just think that they shouldn't have strict dress codes at public golf courses, at country clubs, and in pro golf. I think that's fine, but you'll grow the game a lot more if you just allow people to get out there and clothes that they already have in their closets, because golf is expensive, golf clothes are expensive, and I think a lot of people don't get into the game because of the restrictions on the dress code. And I think if you eliminate that, then more people will get into it.
Do you feel like you've now seen an uprising of other social media influencers in golf? Like you seem like you've kind of trailblazed a new element here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool. When I first started doing this now 10 years ago, which is
Wow.
There was no career path to do what I'm doing today. And so I just had to figure it out, and I made some mistakes along the way. I'm really happy with the brand and the business that I built, and now there's so many other women in golf who have been able to do what I do from following in my footsteps, and same on the men's side as well. They do it a little bit different than I've done it, but it's really blossomed, and it's really cool to be a part of that really like OG portion of it.
When it comes to trying to dial in on the perfect swing, what do you think is more of an impediment from like a physical build standpoint, like your particular build?
Yes.
Or like a John Daly in a spare tire situation? Like what is tougher to swing?
You know, it's funny. They're kind of one and the same. So a lot of women ask me how to swing a golf club, obviously with the way that women are built. So you have to go over under with the way that you set it up, but it's... You're like, you're processing right now.
I am, yeah. I'm locked in. This is educational.
So if you go over and you go under, then when you do your takeaway, you're already in the correct position. But if you go under on your left arm, if you're a righty, you are stuck.
Okay.
And so it doesn't matter of your build. If you have, something in front of you there, always over under.
There you go, Chuck.
Thank
We're
you.
going under.
I'm
over under from now on.
I'm a juggy man myself, so I need some help in that area.
I think my guy Wolchuk, we go to Bourbon. How many beads do you think this guy can collect? Are you kidding me?
Just stacked.
I bet a Woolly Bully versus Spirinac.
Let's go beat for beat.
I bet Wolchuk can put up some serious numbers here
Yeah.
on the bead front.
I think I'm going to give it to you.
Let's
I
go.
give it to you.
Now,
Yeah.
would you consider or would you advise considering a reduction, or do you feel like that actually didn't, once you've adjusted it, it hasn't impacted your ability to score?
It's sort of like slapping God in the face a little bit.
Yeah, I would think so.
No, I would never. I play, I'm a plus 3.9 handicap, so
good.
I didn't make it on tour, not because of the girls, but because of my head. I'm a mental head case. So if I could fix that before I could fix my reduction, I would 100% do that.
Did you do the thing where you're playing where you start with a good 9 and you're like, man, if I can just match this, then I'll have this score at the end? Or what was your mental hang up there?
The first tee. Like, I put so much pressure on myself, and in practice rounds, I would shoot, 64, 65. Then tournament day, I'm like, is this a golf club? How do you hold it? I couldn't handle the pressure, and that's what separates the best in the world, especially in golf, because it is such a mental sport, that I had the physical ability to play, but when the pressure was on and I need to execute the shots, I crumbled. Every single time I crumbled, and I just couldn't handle the pressure. But it's really interesting because what I do now, I'm just much better suited for. Right. In golf, you have the vulnerability and I struggled with the competitiveness, and that hurt me in pro golf. But as a influencer, being vulnerable, I've been able to connect with so many people. And so I just was never meant to do that. I meant to do what I do now.
Paige, when it's in your golf background and all that, do you gravitate towards what they do at Waste Management with that kind of environment, or live, or are you more of the traditionalist, what we see at major championships and that kind of golf?
I'm both. I think in golf, everyone thinks it's one way or the other, and it's so black and white. And I think that you can have all these different tournaments with an individual vibe, and that's what makes golf so special. It's like, when you're going to the WM, it's going to be a party.
Right.
I wouldn't want that week in and week out. I know the players definitely wouldn't want that week in and week out. And then you go to the Masters, which is like ultimate tradition. And there's something so special about that, and being on the golf course without a phone and being disconnected. And I love that. And so there's all these certain personalities of these events, and I think that's what makes golf so special. I think golf gets in its way of growing because they think it has to be either music on the golf course or no music on the golf course, this way or that way. And it's like, no, it can all work together. Even with social media golf and pro golf, it can work together to reach more audiences, and that's what we want. We want to grow the game of golf.
Brought to you by Sports Grid, the #1 sports betting news network. Paige Spiranac, thank you so much for joining us here on your home of the Cowboys.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.